72 hours to the big day in Edo State, match to the Dennis Osadebe house, and well, everyone seemed to be set in that particular state. Joining us to look at the Edo governorship elections 2012 this morning is Kasim Afegba. He's the director of Oshomole Campaign Organization. Good to have you join us this morning.
I'm Director of Media.
Director of Media.
And Publicity. There's a Director General so that it doesn't conflict.
So many offices.
Thank you very much. No, the Director General is in charge of the entire campaigns.
But anyway, the
an expert of it.
Okay. So how prepared, well, is the ACN in Edo State?
Oh, well, they are prepared very, very much on ground. It's a ruling party. It's a party to beat. So at least by now we are putting finishing touches to all the campaigns. By tomorrow, the entire campaigns will come to a halt in line with the requirement of the Electoral Act, 48 hours to elections. But barring any miracle, we're sure that on Saturday, Edo people will come out and vote Comrade Adams Oshomole for a second term in office.
You've always heard that politicians are eternal optimists, so we'll keep it that way. But, you know, do you have any fears concerning the upcoming polls?
Well, what we'll have seen as fears are being presently addressed, and that is the opposition party, the PDP, which has been so desperate, you know, trying to ensure that, you know, they make do their will, so to speak. Plans to cause some kind of crisis, fear in the minds of people, barring them from coming out to vote on Saturday. And the plans they had, which we reliably gathered, you know, was that on Friday there will be some kind of sporadic gunshots everywhere, particularly in Edo North, where they think that the Comrade Governor has a stronghold, and also in Edo South, so that fewer persons will come out on Saturday to vote on the account that, you know, they are being intimidated. But the Comrade Governor has, you know, issued some kind of statewide broadcast telling people to come out to vote, that the presence of the military, you know, 3,500 were deployed, is to ensure peace and security in the state, particularly on account of those security information that we gathered. And to that extent, we are hoping that, and very optimistic that Edo people will come out to vote and elect, you know, the candidate of their choice. In this case, we are very hopeful that Comrade Adams Oshomole will have a landslide victory.
Well, there's been well, a series of allegations and counter-allegations, and one wonders why the party in power should always blame the opposition when they have all the arsenal within its means. First, we had the issue of the accident and even the investigations that finally the police has brought out of that particular incident. But your party still is not letting it lie, because they still believe that some other issues, specifically security matters, which some say if the military are there, is just to really secure that the votes of the people. So why is it that the ACN is worried that 3,500 soldiers have been deployed in Edo State?
The ACN is not worried. The ACN is happy that the presence of the military personnel and officers will mitigate whatever, you know, plans that the PDP, the opposition party in the state, you know, has in stock. And the issue of the convoy and the investigation that was carried out and the report, why the ACN picked holes in that was because the report had not been given to the Attorney General of the state. We only heard about it in the pages of newspapers through the Publicity Secretary of the PDP, Olisametu. So the Attorney General was now raising queries. If you have concluded the investigation, he reserves the right to have a copy of the investigation report and scrutinize it before you make anything public. So could it be that there's somebody, the PDP in Abuja is, you know, has access to information in Edo State more than the state, you know, should have, or what exactly was the issue? So to that extent, we pick holes in the outcome of that investigation. I think there was an advertorial yesterday explaining the rationale for concluding that we suspect that particular report coming out at this, 11th hour, barely 72 hours to the elections.
What about
so the presence of the military in the military personnel in Edo State, to some of us, is a good sign that lives and property will be protected, because if you know the plans of the opposition, and I'm saying the plans of the opposition based on reliable information that we gathered, that they intend to import thugs into Edo State who will be shooting sporadically on Friday, particularly Friday night, and scaring people to come out on Saturday.
Don't the ACN also have their thugs?
No, we're not going to do that. The Comrade governor has insisted that, in fact, it doesn't need extraneous factors for him to win elections. All he needs is free, fair, and credible election. One man, one vote. Allow people to come out, let them vote.
But you should be bothered by the alignment of some heavyweights going into the opposition, campaigning for the opposition in the state.
There are no heavyweights. Those who matter in politics in Edo State today, as we speak, are in the ACN. I don't know the heavyweights you're talking about.
But you've seen some people leave ACN to the PDP.
Please mention one. I don't know.
And you've also seen some people who were also in the ANPP before. They're now with the PDP.
What? Mention names, so I'll be able to tell you their political value, because there are quite a number of paperweight tigers. So I want to know those who you think are heavyweights in your own estimation.
Well, that is why we wouldn't be mentioning their names, because you know them. You know those that have left. So that I don't end up calling them paper tigers. You know those that have left the ANPP to the PDP, and you know those that have been campaigning on the side of the PDP.
To me, I find it very laughable and very curious when the PDP comes up with the argument that they are now called the new PDP, peopled by the same old warlords who have, ran the party from 1999 to date. And when they had opportunity to preside over the state for 10 good years, they plundered the resources of the states. They operated like business buccaneers who feasted on the entire, collective patrimony of the state. And to that extent, the Edo people, came up with the resolve that they needed a change of government, a change of party, and the ACN came on stream 2007. But another 2 years of rigorous legal disputation, which in the final analysis gave the nod to Comrade Adams Oshomole, and on November 12, 2008, he was sworn in. From that time till date, Edo people, given their own intellectuality, given their respect for good things, given their love for appreciating the environment around them, have since seen a difference between what obtained in 10 years of the PDP, which I would respectfully call the years of the locust, and what obtains now that the ACN is in government. 3.5 years down the line, we have the records to show. They are on ground. They are not things you put on paper, on pages of newspaper without being verified. So anybody who comes to Edo State now sees that the narrative has assumed a different dimension. And the dimension is that of development, that of performing government, that of prudence, accountability, and transparency. So it is not enough for, people of the opposition to come up and say, no, we want to take over this, the running of the state. Edo people will be seeing that as an insult, because it's like you are telling them to leave what is good to what is bad. Okay,
now let's go to fears. When I asked you what your fears were, and it seems your fear lies more with the opposition party, do you have any doubt that InEC is actually capable of conducting free and fair elections in Edo State?
The InEC has not shown any sign that will warrant us to doubt their, ability and capacity to deliver, on their statutory responsibility of conducting elections as unbiased umpire. We have raised queries in the past where we found out that there were some kind of underhand dealings, particularly with some collusion with some officers of InEC. And when you say InEC, the leadership, as represented in Jega, might be one of credibility, one of integrity, and what have you. But Jega will not be in all the polling units on that day. So the ACN has its own plan of ensuring that the votes are monitored, the votes are defended, and the votes must be counted. That's why we are giving some kind of information to our people that when you come out that day to vote, wait for your votes to be counted peacefully without any violence. Those who have been feasting on ballot box stuffing, those who have been manipulating the process and all of that, will have devised ways of checkmating them. And that's why I said once you guarantee, security of life and property, the people will have
she says this because we remember then your party, there was a little bit of boycott once leading up to this election coming this Saturday by your party at the InEC office, and some of the youth of the ACN actually complained that there was some kind of malpractice going on concerning registration and the likes. But now you think everything is okay?
Well, yes, you see, why we raise those doubts, ab initio, was because we sense foul play. We have people who give us feedback on the field.
Have the officers finger been removed?
No, we raise queries over the conduct of the the voter registration exercise, which never came to be when INEC at the leadership level saw very copious reasons why they had to suspend that exercise. We had people who confessed on tapes. We handed it to INEC that they were being called, given money, and they were doing registration even before the exercise commenced. So it was becoming ridiculous. If an exercise is commencing 2 days' time and people are already doing registration backdoor, it is necessary for us to raise doubt and raise queries. And INEC listened patiently to both sides and saw that with the reasons that we have adduced and all of that, even the explanation that INEC later gave on the man who was caught with a direct data capture machine, didn't fly, because the man couldn't have been in possession of a data capture machine and is entering a public transport when INEC has vehicles all over the place to carry their personnel to and fro where they are posted to carry out this exercise. And aside from that, an officer is supposed to have 2. The man was caught with 1. Where is the second one? There are several loopholes in the entire setup. So when we raise those queries and all of that, and we have people who confess on tape that yes, they were actually called, given money, and they were being registered, and they felt that okay, the only way we can maintain some level of level playing field and having listened to both parties was to suspend the exercise. That is done. Now the next stage was PDP was now buying a voter's card from people and destroying them. We have relations and relatives who have been approached, come and sell your voter's card, and
how are you sure it's a PDP?
Please save me all of that. When I talk here, I'm talking with due sense of responsibility, and I want the PDP to challenge me on this. As we speak now, we have about 5 or 10 of their persons, PDP members, who are standing trial in law court in Benin, who have been prosecuted by the police and even the courts. Caught in the act of buying voters' card and all of that. So even 168-year-old woman is involved. So it is not, we're not just raising alarm. We're saying these are the things that obtains as we speak. And we are also moving to the next stage of ensuring that whatever manipulations they intended to do, we'll be able to checkmate them and ensure that the mantra of one man, one vote stays true on Saturday.
Because, you've also raised the issue of security, and it's something that I'm sure that the government will be worried about, especially the government at the federal level, to try and help you maintain the one man, one vote mantra. Now you're saying that it seems the opposition party already has plans to bring in thugs and, shoot guns. From what we are seeing, if this account is anything to go by, how is social as opposed to be violent on the day of election?
Except you are telling me that the military people who are on ground, 3,500 in Edo State, would be sleeping while the thugs will have a few days.
Are they there already? Because we know that the ACN was kicking against that.
No, the ACN never kicked against that. They are there. Even the governor had to, carry out a statewide broadcast again on this issue, telling our people to accept the military in their fold, that they have come to ensure peace and tranquility before, during, and after the elections, that people should not see them as enemies and all of that. As we speak now, the broker is going local TV stations and radio stations and all of that. That is a way of calming them down, because naturally when people see the military, they will think that something else is happening and all of that. So he needed to do that kind of explanation in order for people to buy into the idea of protecting their lives and property before, during, and
let's
after
look
the
at the 3 senatorial districts, because once the ACN thought it was going to be an easy ride, that they hold the entire state. But again, there was one particular district, Edo Central, which the ACN failed to clinch when in the last elections. Aren't you bothered that again that will be repeated, knowing full well that's a stronghold of the PDP, and they have demonstrated that in the last election?
It is going to be an easy ride. Let me correct that impression very quickly. Easy ride in the sense that what we are insisting on is one man, one vote, barring any ballot box stuffing and all of that. If the mantra of one man, one vote stays true, it's going to be an easy ride for them. If they try to do the other way around, there will be balance of terror. That I can assure you. Having said that, the Edo Central is not a stronghold of the PDP.
Who's going to be providing the, sorry to interrupt, sir,
Yes.
but who's going to be providing the balance to the terror?
No, if you rig the election on the spot, if you are rigging the election, you are caught, you'll be roasted. It's not. We are not going to approach this election with kid gloves, because the idea of trying to say, damn the consequences, PDP will rig the election and you just fold your arms, it won't happen. Like in my locality, for example, I'll give you a typical example. I don't imagine myself going to my polling unit to vote, and I wait to defend my vote, and I see one thug or whatever, or gun-carrying young man saying that he wants to come and scare voters and carry a ballot, but it won't happen. That I can assure you. And so we have several of such people across the state in the entire over 2,000 polling units across the state and the entire 192 wards. So we have people who are going to monitor elections, who are going to open their eyes and ensure that even the materials are distributed accordingly to the places where they are needed. So it is not a matter of going to sleep. We are not sleeping. We are going to be awake.
But Edo Central is still one place.
Yes, let me tell you about Edo Central. I don't know where your statistics are coming. If you look at the margin,
you don't have any senator from Edo Central to start with.
If you look at the margin of, it's just one senator per senatorial district. So the senator represents.
We have 3 senators.
Yes,
They're senators.
the margin of.
And the pattern with which they voted in that particular election, then, that the last election before this coming election, you saw how it all went until that day. No one thought the PDP was going to clinch that place.
No. See, that pattern will change, because now we have so much of performance, development, and intervention of the governor in the lives of the people in Edo Central. There are rules consulted, there are water, provision and all of that. So it is not, now the people are saying that there is a government in place that is answering to their yearnings.
Okay.
And whether you like it or not, if you know the geography of Edo Central, you also know that water has been a major problem. As we speak, there is a rig that is permanently in Edo Central, part of Edo State, that is carrying out borehole activities in every community. And so, to that extent, we've campaigned in those places. We've seen the turnout. We are not hiring crowds.
Okay,
so